Hey guys, welcome back. I was progressing through my Hell for Dummies series and I was really trying to get Demon Mouth or Demon Stare or Demon Den, and I've just been having horrible luck spawning in those locations. So I decided to go ahead and document my other attempts on a different series called Red to Rights, because I only take reds even if I'm level 1. And I believe that it's the best way to get rich, like just with a new character. It's the best way to level up. It's the best way to gain AP. So we're going to give Otto a good luck pet and send it right in. Now, I'm only human, and I expect that you are too, so we're going to get all the mistakes. I'm not going to pretend to be perfect. I'm not going to cut anything out. I'm going to show my approach to Hell, just for posterity, even though Hell is going to be the focus. I am going to cover a lot of strats during the approach to Hell that I think new users can kind of exploit or use. But if you just came for the Hell strats, you can go ahead and skip to when I enter Hell. I do think this approach was actually kind of interesting though. So the choice is yours. Now this first thing, the reason I decided to go this way, even though it's outside of the storm circle, is there's a skeleton champion over here, and I think it's just good to always farm the skeleton champion, considering he has a chance to drop a key, which is like one of the most valuable items in the game. It's used to open the horde, which is potentially limitless loot, but I'm not going to be covering the horde today. I'm just going to be covering, Hell, and the 0 to hero aspects of, taking your character straight to Hell and just getting rich right off the bat. Now there's like a few spots where you can cheese this champion. I think a lot of people don't prefer this spot for obvious reasons. He can hit you with that downward right to left swing, but you can just jump over it. This was my first game of the day, so I made a few mistakes here. This is just the spot that I've always been using. He didn't used to be able to hit you there. I'm just most comfortable using this spot for some reason. On a note though, if he walks too far to the left before he starts swinging at you, like your left, skier's left, he can actually lunge up the little lip there and be up there with you and trap you in the corner, so make sure that doesn't happen. And I'm potentially one shot here, so I actually make the decision to just like heal up with my starting bandage, which is goofy because I realized afterward he was actually one shot. So yeah, that's fun. There's also this health shrine right here too, so like right after you finish that little cheese, go ahead and just top off. Now, he doesn't have a, key, which would have been insane to have, like, a level 1 character just get a key right off rip, but he does have some Templar armor we can use. That's kind of nice. So when you crouch at someone, like I did at the top of the stairs there, that's the colloquial sign in this game, like, I surrender, let's be friends. And I get lucky because he just stopped shooting at me. I think he would have had me basically dead if he wanted to keep shooting at me, because he's a ranger and I'm a really slow fighter without really any gear. But we end up kind of being homies here, which is kind of key. Always be looking for these secrets too in parts of the map that look like they're supposed to exist, like on the mini map. Like there's that symbol in there, that little cross diamond thing. Normally, if you can figure out how to get in there, there's going to be like some really good loot. You say I pick up a cape, that's really good. Even though it's not necessarily for me, it's got some stat bonuses I can use. I'm just going to go ahead and top off here. I can hear someone fighting out there, and I can hear the bow being shot, so I'm just hoping that that's still my archer friend out there, my ranger friend, I should say. No point in being afraid, so we're just gonna go investigate. This next part, I think, is just kind of interesting, so I'm just gonna let it roll. Enjoy. So we see this rogue, and I'm always really wary of rogues, but it looks like he's also a homie. This was a trio queue, so the fact that now we have 3 homies, it just like kind of equalizes things if we run into other people. I'm really happy about that. I see that we're getting pushed by the storm circle. I decide to be a hero. But something that's worth noting, this room is really hard to push through, and if there weren't 3 of us partied up, if we all decided to like unga bunga fight each other, we probably all would have died if we ran up into this straight up. It's important when you're getting pushed by the storm circle not to freak out. A lot of times you have to stand and fight. That's just the only way. So don't lose your cool, stay calm, remember that you can rest all of the damage from the storm back, and stand and deliver. It's the only way a lot of times. Sadly, I notice our rogue friend is dead in the corner. I was not happy about that. Yeah, a moment of silence for our dead friend. But lest his life be in vain, I'm going to go ahead and grab all his healing items, which you'll see I run it down to the T at the end of this video, so I think these healing items and, you know, him just being in the game saved my life, actually, straight up. It's important to be very resourceful. Just use everything that you can get. He had some gear for me too, which was really nice. This I also thought was interesting. I see him close the door, which I think he did for his own self-survival. And then I hear the door come down, like get smashed. I was initially going to look for another way around because he had that conga line of enemies behind him. But then I was like, alright, he's still getting chased, so maybe he needs my help. But it looks like he found a nice cheese spot, so he's alright. Okay, the decision to go back here as well. I know there's a health shrine in that corner of the room, but I don't see the glow off of it. And then I remember that the rogue actually took it right when he walked into the room, so that's why I went back there. So this ranger is actually cool. I've seen people like on your team, like that you queued up with, not drop armor and stuff that would work for you. We go ahead and trade armor items. That's going to increase our survivability. Every margin, every second counts, so this is important to take care of your teammates. I've got to breach doors first because I'm the fighter. Nothing really comes of it, but we do find a couple more dead bodies, which is, you know, decent because they have loot. And we find our portals, which is also very nice. So if you're trying to grind AP or adventure points, opening portals is a really good way to get adventure points. Opening boxes and chests as well. Just getting as much loot as possible. So I guess, yeah, without further ado, we're gonna say goodbye to our new friend and take our red. Okay, so being familiar with every spawn and exactly how to respond to the storm circle at that specific spawn is going to keep you alive more than anything else in hell. Because the last thing that we want is to be pushed into a situation that we're not prepared for or we don't really have a plan for by the storm circle in an area as hardcore as HR hell. So at this spawn, regardless of which side of the room you spawn on, there's going to be a zombie over there. And they have that fart gas, and in hell they spawn 2 fart gases and it burns like none other. So what I did there was I waited for him to walk away so that he wouldn't chase me to the door and get aggroed on me, because once they're up against the door they can spawn fart clouds that like through the door somehow, and then this whole hallway could end up just full of clouds, which is not good. Yeah, on this side of the room, the only thing you have to be careful about is these spiders, of the ritual rooms I should say. But there's this nice little cheese spot down here to my left. You just hit that lever and it opens up this crawl space right here. And naturally the spiders can get in because they're so little, but we can use that crawl space or just to bring any enemy that we're not prepared for or is like messing us up really bad, like back there. It's also really important, I think, to always have a backup plan. Like, one of the first things that you want to do is like, okay, what's plan A and what's plan B, right? Since I'm a fighter, the ritual rooms are not so bad because it's just a bunch of skeletons in here and I have a shield. So I can block most of their attacks besides the spearmen, who I'm just bad at fighting. But yeah, now I have my plan A, which is play it straight, and my plan B is, right back to that little hole. So I'm going to fight like the rest of the enemies straight, but I'm just going to show you like kind of how this hole works. Yeah, this skeleton can't walk in, plain and simple. It's too little for him. So I'm going to say this in almost every single one of my videos, just to drill it into your head because I've died to it a few times. The enemies with the electric shields, if you hit them in the shield, they'll reflect the damage that you would have done back at you. I first tried to like bait him into making an attack so I could hit him in the head, but that didn't work, so I just settled for the foot. It's important to just, do what works and not risk too much. Now, I don't really have a problem fighting this specific type of enemy, even with an electric shield. I even fight one later. I just kind of wanted to show you how the crawl space works. Okay, so we saw those spiders initially. We didn't go directly for the spider spot because it's really important to just take it one room at a time. And there was that skeleton in our way, so we had to kite it back just for safety and take it to the hole, kill the spiders that spawned. But now that the way is clear, we can just run right into the room and kill this spider bot. If you're going to cheese spiders like this too, you're going to have to be really careful with your swings if you're a melee character. Not to accidentally break the pot that you're on. You can see that I break that pot in one hit. The problem with the spiders too is if they trap you in a corner, they can actually like clip trap you into the corner and there's nothing you can do. So being really careful with like a group of spiders not to get trapped in a corner is super important. But yeah, that's the breach into ritual rooms. And now I have this big swath of hallway. I can kite things down. I get really lucky with an escape portal, so that's nice. That's the hard part, actually. Just the first couple of rooms is where you'll usually die if you die. So just being stupid careful right when you first enter the room is a good idea. Ritual rooms is kind of nice because as you progress down the hallways, you can open any one of those doors just to see what's inside, and if there's like 2 enemies or just something you're not okay with fighting, you can just really quickly like close the door again, walk away, try a different door. Kind of cool. Just doing some inventory management here, making sure I can optimize my loot. Pots are going to have a lot of little 1x1 treasures. I mean the dimensions that it takes up in your inventory. The little 1x1 treasures are going to be worth a lot more at green rarity or higher. So I want to make sure I drop all of my white or gray items. Another thing, any item that's like a 2x2, like this surgical kit, you can pop it into your utility slot and it's going to take up a lot less space. So I'm going to top off with that potion and pop that surge kit up there, and we'll be able to just like fit more stuff. Also, for some reason, the blue or just lanterns sell for a lot. So, I mean, picking up lanterns of rarity like blue or higher, I think is always worth it. When you come up these stairs watching this darkness, there's always an archer or a crossbowman. I go into the back of the room to make him take a couple of steps forward, and this way there's less distance around this lip that I have to run to get a shot off on him. So I find that most stuff you can block by crouching, holding your shield up, and just looking up slightly, because the enemies, especially in HR, will always shoot for your head. So if you look up just slightly with your shield, you're gonna block most stuff. Now on another note, every room in hell has a lion's mane chest room where like the best loot is, and this one is at the top of those stairs. You see that door I didn't try. That one does require a lockpick. So we didn't find a lockpick, it's just unlucky. Okay, that fight is worth talking about, and if you didn't see everything that happened, go ahead and rewind and watch it again. But that is a variation of the Zweihander. He does the 2 normal swings, which you can block just by crouching and looking in the direction that he's swinging, but then he also chains the 3rd sweeping ground attack, and you can either jump over it or you can just look down slightly with your shield into that side, and you can also block it that way. It is important though to note, if you listen for the grinding noise, you'll hear his sword grinding against the ground when he's doing the downward attack, and that way you know to either jump or look down with your shield. So yeah, from here on out we're just gonna break as many pots as possible, you know, get as much loot as we can, and we've already got our escape that we can remember to run back to, or how to run back to if we run into anything that we're not like prepared to deal with, or if anything goes wrong. It's always important as well. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how either of these attacks hit me. should usually block it. I mean, whatever. Yeah, so I'm just super greedy. I'm gonna keep trying to just like trade out greens for blues and blues for purples and just try to maximize. Any one by one that's green rarity or higher is gonna give you more gold than like a stack of gold, like 10 gold, so you can also trade that out like that. So I mean, that's basically it. You know, we have our portals to escape, and we're gonna keep poking around until, you know, we get too scared or whatever to continue, and which to me is about to happen in a second because I tank a hit. Like I said, I'm horrible at fighting the spearman. So yeah, I take one to the head, and I dip out. But just off of that, we're gonna get 646 AP, which I think is actually a high for me with a level 1 character, but that's probably because I was breaking pots and barrels like the whole time. We also are able to put together like an entire full set and a half for our fighter, and I've said this in other videos, but what I like to do when I'm doing like 0 to hero, I'll just keep putting my sets away until I have at least 3 sets that are kind of nice. And that way, when I'm playing with like a more competitive team, or if I just want to gear up for a few runs and like do some PvP or whatever, I don't feel like I'm massively under pressure because I have like 2 more fallback sets that I can just use. And then if I have like a string of bad luck, I lose 2 games in a row, I can just not use the 3rd set and just go gear up again, or maybe even just have that 3rd fallback. Yeah, so we're gonna get a count off here. Let's see. Looks like we made a good 429 gold, which is enough to buy healing items for like quite some time, and even like a base set of armor with a lot of gold left over. So we're in a pretty good spot. Yeah, so if you learned anything or if you just enjoyed watching the video, please go ahead and like and subscribe because that's massive. For a startup channel like mine. I have been uploading on at least a weekly basis. I try to upload more than that, so there should be lots more content to come. Anyway, best of luck out there, adventurers. I hope you all the best, and I hope you have a lovely day.